What's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing back at it. Post fight, I'm bugging, man. Breakdown and prediction: Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, the rematch. WBC World Title on the line. Deontay Wilder being the champion. Definitely a good fight, you know what I mean? Well, of course, the first fight, Wilder got tested. You know what I'm saying? He almost seen his belt flying out of his hands in that seventh round. Very dramatic, you know what I mean? Very dramatic for fight overall, you know what I mean? Me, as a matter of fact, I wasn't clamoring for the rematch. I thought Wilder beat his opponent decisively, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, on my scorecard, by the time of the stoppage, I did have Luis Ortiz up on my scorecard, you know what I mean? So Deontay Wilder's 41 and 0, one draw, 40 KOs. Beautiful record. The man Luis Ortiz is 33 and 1 with 26 KOs. And that one loss has been to Deontay Wilder. He's about 6'4 with a 78-inch reach. And Deontay Wilder 6'7 with an 83-inch reach. So in the first fight, man, there was some rounds. Most of, for the majority of the rounds on my card, the man Wilder was basically being outboxed by the man Luis Ortiz. Not thoroughly. It was definitely a you know what I'm saying? It was definitely like a tactful fight, you know what I mean? Very chess move like fight, you know? Both guys not trying to give up real estate. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, especially for Luis Ortiz, you know what I mean? I think the keys to victory for Luis Ortiz, he's actually going to have to gauge distance properly, and he's going to have to make this a boring fight, you know what I mean? He's going to have to try to frustrate the man Deontay Wilder so he could actually use his best um, attributes, his counterpunching, you know what I mean? Especially his right hook off the counterpunch. It's a thing of beauty. And Deontay Wilder, I'm sure, knows all about that. And he has to be aware of that right hook, you know what I mean? As far as the jab fest, Deontay Wilder got to hold his ground, stand in the middle of the square or the ring, and pump that jab, you know what I mean? Basically go back to how he did Bermain Stavern in the first fight, you know what I mean? Pump that jab with effectiveness. And even how he beat guys like what's his name? What's that guy's name? Man, he's escaping my mind right now. Eric Molina. Eric Molina had success in the earlier rounds, but Deontay Wilder's just stuck behind the jab, and eventually, his right hand was um was what stopped the man Eric Molina. Luis Ortiz, he can't just come in there just trying to walk in, trying to go through the jab, but try to walk through a right hand. He's gonna go night night. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to use a lot of head movement. He's gonna have to use a lot of feints. You know what I mean? Try to get the man Deontay Wilder to react. And if Deontay Wilder does react, he can catch him with the counter hooks. You know what I mean? And the counter punches. You check it. So I think it's gonna be a very tactical fight for as long as it goes. Both guys seen each other in the ring before. Deontay Wilder, I'm sorry, Luis Ortiz is definitely in shape, best shape I've ever seen him. As far as before the fight, we'll see what it looked like, what he looked like. I believe he came into the weighed in at like 234 on the scales, you know what I mean, for the weigh-in. Not quite sure what Wilder came in on the scales, but Luis Ortiz is a guy who can box flat-footed or he can bounce on his toes, you know what I mean? But I think that the man has gotten older since when they fought, I believe, in 2018. And I'm not going to go with what Deontay Wilder did to Bermain Stavern in their rematch because Bermain Stavern was grossly out of shape, really and truly, and that he had been out the ring for a while. But on the other hand, Luis Ortiz hasn't looked spectacular, in my opinion, in his fights after that loss to Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? And maybe age is catching up. Maybe he wasn't quite motivated to fight the guys that he fought. Well, we'll see what he looked like come fight night, you know. But I think Deontay Wilder's probably going to stop him again. You know what I mean? I'd have to put my money down on the stoppage. I'd probably say, you know, I'm just taking a guess here, really and truly, because the first fight went 10 rounds. If Luis Ortiz probably had won 2 of the last 10 rounds on my card, he would have won the fight. You know what I mean? So if he goes the distance, he has a great shot at winning this fight, and that's what the man Luis Ortiz on. Sure enough, he can try. He can try to stop the man Wilder. He almost did in the seventh, as far as throwing out his load, throw everything but the kitchen sink. But Deontay Wilder showed he got a chin, shook his head and said nah, and walked back to his. Man, it's always something, man. You two messing with me, man. I be trying to do some live streams lately. Somehow, some way, man, I lose data, lose all my internet. I'm in the house. I use my regular data, whatever, man. Let's continue, man. So I was saying Luis Ortiz could easily take this fight the distance. He might could get stopped late. He might could get stopped early. So I've just basically be guessing. But my prediction for sure is that Wilder will win this fight. I believe via stoppage or knockout. And just for the sake of it, I'll probably predict a 6 round knockout. You know what I mean? If you know B March boxing, I always give every guy's opponent, I give him respect. You know what I mean? Every opponent, you know. I respect Luis Ortiz. He's a tough, rough, and rugged fighter. It's unfortunate the man is 40 years old and has only gotten opportunities to fight Wilder. Yes, he got offered the Anthony Joshua fight after the Big Baby Miller drug test debacle. He turned it down in order to fight Deontay Wilder. Am I mad at him? That's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, he's getting what he wants. It's not what I want. He wants a title shot, fighting a guy whom he's faced before, and Deontay Wilder is a better alternative. You know what I mean? You know, Vladimir Klitschko ducked him earlier. Tyson Fury ducked him, and also Anthony Joshua ducked him. You know what I mean? So at least he's getting his world title opportunity, and that's what he wanted, and that's what he's getting. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the guy's career has actually been on the up and up ever since he came to the PBC and Al Heyman. Never forget, this guy Luis Ortiz was signed to Matchroom, you know what I mean, but never got the opportunities that he wanted. As soon as he leaves Matchroom, the guy gets opportunities for world title shots. Now twice versus Deontay Wilder, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, the man is in great position. I'm sure he's definitely taking care of his daughter who was sick, and you know, he's got that money in the bank. You know what I mean? Regardless if he can speak English or not, man. One of my favorite fighters back in the G, Joel Casamayor. That man never. You check it. So I think Luis Ortiz is going to come in there and go out on his shield, just like he did in the first fight. You know what I mean? I don't think he wants to be caught in an exchange like he did in the first fight. He's going to have to set traps, use a lot of feints, a lot of head movement, and possibly go to the body of Deontay Wilder, maybe to slow him down. You know what I mean? But me personally, I've never seen body shots really take a toll on Deontay Wilder, but never say never. You know what I mean? So that's my prediction. B March Boxing. Big ups to E Woodson in the chat. What the deal, fam? Says salute, fam. Big ups, big up E Woodson. Set shot. What the deal? He says Deontay 219, Ortiz 236, I believe. Okay, that's the weights. Yeah. Okay, so Wilder's coming in at below 220. You know what I mean? So should be an interesting night of boxing. You know what I mean? And I got Wilder by 6 round stoppage or KO. But I won't be surprised if this fight goes the distance, which is what Deontay Wilder shouldn't want at all. He don't want this fight to go the distance, all right? What the deal, neutral natural? He says Wilder by 3. That could possibly happen, man. You know, Deontay Wilder, he says 3rd round stoppage. I feel you, man. Deontay Wilder is must-watch TV, and a knockout is inevitable. You know what I mean? Tyson Fury and Bermane Stiverne in the first fight, they escaped the wrath. But believe you me, every opponent Wilder fought, they've hit the canvas. So we shall see. B March Boxing. Big ups to everybody in the chat. Leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm out of here. Peace.